Hi there. I'm here to make a video predominantly summarising the main manifesto pledges of the SNP party. I've been looking for decent videos on that summarise party manifestos. A lot of my friends and family ask me for advice because I studied politics at university. And I found this video by this guy, Evan Edinger. He's an American guy, moved over to Britain quite a while ago. Has done various YouTube videos. He's quite a prolific YouTuber these days. He's moved on from American and Britain stuff to more serious, more interesting content based on his experiences in Britain, basically. He did a video called "I Analysed Every Party in England. Here's How They Compare." He kind of focuses on his own interests. He's quite clear about that, and he does a pretty decent, reasonably light-hearted summary of the main political parties. So I asked him in the comment section if he would do one on the SNP. Understandably, he said it's not in his interest group. You should be able to find a decent Scottish YouTuber who does the same. And I really looked, and I couldn't find anything. I found a few videos from Sky News, from Channel 4, one from the SNP themselves, and that was basically it. So partly inspired by that and the fact that I have been wanting to make content for quite a while now, I just need to do it. So this is my first ever video. So bear with me, I'm going to be reading off of a screen and we'll see how it goes. So the SNP in Scotland, most importantly, to know from them, they only run in Scotland. They only have politicians standing for office in Scotland, for some of which for Parliament, most of which for Holyrood, which is the Scottish Parliament. Now, what this means, it essentially turns it into a local party, whereby they do not have any chance of gaining power in Westminster. There's a small chance of them joining a coalition, but to be honest, their policies are so radical and so specific that they're quite unlikely to do that. They don't have an interest in making decisions for the rest of the UK, so they essentially are limited to ruling or trying to rule in Scotland and trying to influence Westminster. And that's precisely what they do. Their manifesto reflects that, in that a large portion of their manifesto pledges, rather than being actionable policies, pledges that mean that say what they will do if and when they come to power in Scotland. Instead of that, many of them are actually just pledges to push Westminster to give them more powers. Some of their pledges go further to say, if we got those powers, we would do X. But in general, their whole manifesto is based around pledging to push Westminster to give them more powers and devolve more powers and gain more and more independence from London, from Westminster. This is actually how I would say this is how a lot of manifestos work for parties who are almost guaranteed not to get into power. They write a manifesto without any true belief that they will be able to act on those policies. That applies to a large amount of parties in the UK, particularly because we're a first past the post system. There are only two parties that really have a chance of getting into power. So most party manifestos are geared around what they would push if they were in Parliament, if they had any kind of politician in Parliament, the kinds of things they would advocate for, the kinds of things they would fight for and push. So very often manifestos are written like this. It's just the Scottish manifesto for the SNP is written explicitly like this. We will pledge to push Westminster on this matter, on that matter, whereas other political parties tend to write them as if they are going to be in power, even though they certainly are not going to be in power. Anyway, so the SNP, like I've said, they are dedicated to independence. Their main policy is to gain independence for Scotland. However, with so much going on right now, independence, I would say, has taken a back seat alongside their other, probably arguably their second major pledge is to scrap Trident, the British nuclear defence system, which is all based in Scotland, costs 100 billion or more, and Scotland don't want it. They don't want it in Scotland. They don't want all of that money being spent on it. They'd rather spend it on other things. So these policies have taken a back seat at the moment. They're not gone completely, certainly not, but you won't hear them banging